happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Hope you're all traveling safe, whether you're on your way to the airport, you're on your way to wherever. My wife and kids right now are on the way up to Flagstaff. I'll be joining them as soon as the show is done. I know you've got big plans tomorrow before Faye has to go into work. And then
yeah, she always works on Thanksgiving, so we do a little Thanksgiving lunch, and then it's pretty much football in Couch City. I know you make it up to Flagstaff every Thanksgiving, so you're going to be making that. How bad is the traffic on the 17th?
Actually, the last
Wednesday?
few years, it's been not that bad at all. Like by the time I hit it, it's all gone. It's probably bad now, but by the time I get there, hit the 17 at like 6:15 or 6:30, it's not that bad.
What's the first cocktail you have at 8:32 when you arrive there? Get settled and say hello to everybody.
Gray Whale Gin, Fever Tree Tonic, and a squeeze of lime.
Look at you.
It's
well played.
It'll be. I don't know if it'll be waiting for me, but the ingredients will be out.
It'll be waiting for you what, with your slippers and your robe?
My pipe and my velvet robe. Honey.
Where's my cocktail?
I'll be like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Honey, I'm home. You come in and put the robe on
Excuse me, is that the right amount of ice? I don't think so.
Honey, I said that much gray whale, not that much gray whale. Come on. So that will be when I get up there about 8:30. That's what we've got going on. And then, honestly, probably listen to the Suns game on my way up there and see how they do against the Sacramento Kings. And this is
it's a late start tonight. Actually.
8
You'll
o'clock.
probably be able to catch most of the game.
You get up there in time. Yeah, I would think so. So they did this thing on the Ringer, and probably because the Ringer was filling in for Gambo today, I spent a lot of time on the Ringer.com today. I got a couple things to talk about that I saw on the Ringer today. They called it, Tim. They called it the Thanksgiving Index, and basically their idea was let's give it up to teams and fan bases that have something to be thankful for so far this NBA season. And it was, in typical Ringer fashion, it was this really easy to look at like chart that showed each team relative to their preseason expectations, relative to their preseason over-unders, right? And how far they're overachieving from what the over-unders said about them in the preseason. The only other team that is pacing better than the Phoenix Suns above their over-under are the Detroit Pistons. That's it. Suns are number 2 in terms of exceeding their expectations and being on a pace better than what Vegas said they were going to be. What grabbed me about this one, though, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, you look at the underachieving teams, and this really helps the Phoenix Suns. Memphis really underachieving. The Kings really underachieving. Dallas really underachieving. The Pelicans really underachieving. And the LA Clippers really, really, really
at
underachieving.
the bottom of this chart.
And that is where expectations for the Phoenix Suns have kind of changed a little bit, where it's like, hey, damn, this might be a playoff team. If for no other reason, look at everybody else in this conference and where they're at relative to what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season, right? Like that feeds this almost as much as the Suns play themselves.
I mean, if the Suns can kind of make a living beating the bottom half of the conference, competing, maybe stealing a game or two against the upper echelon, yeah, they could end up with a 40-plus win season. We talk about the play-in. That will probably put them in the play-in. We understand that. But they'll be battling for that 6th seed on those play-in spots up until April. Mm-hmm. Because the Pelicans are brutal. Okay, the Mavericks might figure it out eventually. The Jazz will not figure it out. We don't know about the Kings playing better as of late. The Clippers, who knows if they'll ever figure it out. The Grizzlies, the Blazers. I mean, even the Warriors are kind of hanging around 500. I guess we'll get a couple shots at them coming up in the next month or so. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. And think about the Suns team when they're at full strength. That Jalen Green, Devin Booker game, I know it's only one game.
It was fun.
But they looked really from
good.
A chemistry standpoint and a togetherness standpoint and the way that they played together. Here's the way I look at it. On one hand, you're like, well, Tim, it's one game. Calm down, pump the brakes. On the other hand, if they looked that comfortable together in their very first game, what does that tell you about the possibilities and the potential going forward? So I understand both sides of it. Yeah, just one game. But already after just one game, they kind of had it working together.
Yeah. And so after 5 games, now the hope is that the injuries they're currently suffering now, and you mentioned this a second ago. I mean, Jalen Green, we're still weeks away. Grayson Allen, we're going to have Kellen on the show coming up in about 20 minutes on social media. He reminded everybody that Cam Johnson with a bruised quad missed a whole bunch of time a few years ago, way longer than anybody thought. I think when the injury happened to Grayson, and just honestly, based off of Jordan Ott's own words, made it sound like, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was okay. He's out. He continues to be out. There doesn't appear to be any end in sight in terms of when he's going to be available for the Suns. I think certainly his presence will help Devin Booker, and his presence will kind of balance things out a little bit in terms of surviving this stretch. But if that's why I think tonight's game, I'm not going to go off the deep end and say it's important. It's the end of November. There's still 65 games to go. But I do think it's somewhat important to maintain this idea that there is this tier of Western Conference teams, and we're above that. Like, we're better than that group. Like, and if we're going to really get where we want to go, and we know we're going to take some losses against the Thunders of the world and the Nuggets of the world and the Lakers and the Rockets, et cetera, we have to beat teams like the Kings in order to keep ourselves in that play-in conversation. Because if you start losing those games, that's when you start to slip out of that conversation. Make sense?
Yes, and Jordan Ott gets a lot of credit for what he's done with this team. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They had 18-point leads or more in 8 consecutive games.
That was insane.
Now, they didn't start kind of tracking those play-by-plays until 1997, I think. No Suns team in history has ever had 18-point leads or more in 8 straight games. So that speaks to not only the Suns winning these games, but it speaks to them, in a way, dominating. They actually lost one of those games because they blew a 22-point lead to the Atlanta Hawks.
But that's the other thing that I think raised our expectation level for this basketball team a little bit, is that not only were they taking care of business against these bad teams in the West, they were destroying these bad teams in the West. I mean, everything about their actions during that run, most of it without Jalen Green, was like, hey, guys, this team is not only better than the bottom of the West, they're way better than the bottom of the West. They're in a different tier, in a different class, which, again, is kind of what makes tonight so interesting to see. Are they still there? You know, are they still in that space of we're definitely better than these 6 teams in the West for sure? Because they were destroying those teams in that game.
And I think if you don't win this game tonight, it's not an indication that was false hope. I think it's an indication that the Suns were not at full strength and the Kings are playing a little better as of late. But we talked about it earlier. With the stretch ahead of them after this Kings game, see, that's the hope. The hope is, right, okay, the way the Suns were playing against these lesser lights in the Western Conference, they were not only winning, they were for lack of a better word, dominating them. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, okay, let's see how you compete against the upper echelon. A, can you compete? And B, can you find a way to win some of these games? We got a taste of that against the Wolves last Friday night when they had the improbable comeback. That was great. Now, after the Kings game, you go to Oklahoma City. You've got the Nuggets. You've got the Lakers on the road. 3 in a row on the road. At the Lakers, at the Rockets, at the Wolves. And here's the thing. In this 8-game stretch post-Kings, they're going to be, quote-unquote, underdogs in every game.
Yep.
So in that 8-game stretch, if they go 3-5, that's not great. But I'll tell you what, there's going to be 3 really impressive wins.
I would throw a party for 3-5 against that schedule. Oh my God!
Right, and if you go 2-6, again, not great. But that means that they found a way to win 2 of these games. Like they won a game against the Nuggets, they won a game in LA, or they won a game in Houston. So even if you go 2-6 in that stretch, not great for the record, but there are going to be 2 wins where you're like, damn, the Suns won that game. Okay.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.